The title of this video, the STG44, is the most versatile gun in World War II. It's a bit overreaching for this being an early build of the game, like it's only beta, so things are subject to change and we obviously don't have all the weapons in the game, but I'm going to talk about the strengths and weaknesses of this weapon and weapons in past Call of Duty games and kind of compare it to that and how I think this will be the most versatile gun in World War II. Starting off with the in-game description, it says it's an automatic rifle with the fastest fire rate in its class. So that right away we know it's the fastest firing rifle, even though we haven't seen the other rifles in this game, like we haven't seen all of the rifles. We do know it's the fastest firing because that's how the game describes it. So we can go off that to know that all of them should be slower, so this is probably going to be the best rifle for close range engagements. That's generally how it goes. The faster the fire rate, the better it is up close. And so this is likely to be the best rifle up close, and it is very effective up close. I'm going to give two classes for this weapon. One is a more aggressive loadout, and the other is a more defensive traditional AR loadout. So this gun having the fastest fire rate in its class makes it good up close, like I said, but it's also very capable at ranges, and I think I could compare this to the KBAR 32 in Infinite Warfare. It isn't quite on that level, but it's just an overall versatile gun, or the HVK 30 in Black Ops 3. Both are just high fire rate assault rifles that can get it done in close range. They can compete with the subs a bit in close range if you play correctly, but also they can compete at long range if you have the skill for it, and if you are able to like control recoil and burst correctly, you could definitely use these guns at ranges. I think the balance is what causes this is a good balance between fire rate, but also a good enough damage and low enough recoil that it's controllable at range in the right hands. And the STG definitely has that in my opinion. Getting into the loadouts, I have two. Both are using the infantry division, but the first one, this is meant to be more of an aggressive STG loadout, and we're going to use the steady aim attachment to get better hip fire. We're going to use quick draw, and we're going to use extended mags. Extended mags is kind of the only one that seems kind of odd, but if you're being aggressive and if you're fighting close range engagements, you might not be able to choose when you have to reload, and you might want to like spray a lot, and you might have to run into like multiple people. So I'm going to put extended mags for all those reasons. I have a high potential to run into multiple people, and I also don't have the ability to control when I reload as much. If you're playing more back, you don't need like the largest clip because you could just get behind your cover and reload. Whereas with this, you never know, you might run into 4 guys and then have to kill a 5th. So that's why I'm going to be using extended mags. Quick draw so I can get on target faster, and then hip fire is obviously very good in close range. And the infantry division is good because you're going to be able to get all those attachments, but you're also, if you have infantry level 4, you're going to move faster while aiming down sights, which makes you just better in gunfights overall. You can jump shot better, you can strafe better, making yourself a harder target to hit, you can ADS and move around. It just generally makes you a more like slippery target for the enemies, and it makes you very mobile. You might think that you would want to use the airborne if you wanted like an aggressive assault rifle, but I think infantry is definitely the way to go because I really like having infantry level 4, which allows you to move faster while aiming down sights. For our basic training, we're going to use Gunslinger. That allows you to fire guns while sprinting and diving, and most notably it allows you to break your sprint by like shooting, and then you basically have no sprint out time. So you can break your sprint by hip firing first and then transitioning to aiming down sights, and you're going to be able to kill people very quickly, especially if you have good centering and you can start landing some of those hip fire shots. That's why we have the steady aim attachment, which allows us to get our hip fire better. So all these things kind of combine, and I think it kind of paints a picture of how you're supposed to play with it. For my secondary, I have the 1911, and that's just kind of preference, what you want to use. And then for my tactical, I have the M18 smoke grenades. Smoke grenades are really effective for being aggressive, and that's what I want to do with this loadout. So yeah, I have the smoke grenade on. And then finally, another reason why we're using the infantry division is because we get the bayonet attachment on our assault rifle for free. And this allows you, I don't know if you've used the bayonet, but it's extremely you don't have to be looking directly at the target. Sometimes it could be on the side of you and you can bayonet them. It's very generous with like the hitbox and aim assist type thing. So if you get in a close range fight that's kind of awkward, just bayonet them. Once you get used to using the bayonet, you'll be able to like better take advantage of it and know when it's useful. And when you get that down, you'll be bayoneting people all the time. You'll be surprised at how useful it is. And I just like to play with this loadout kind of like I would with an SMG. I'm aggressive, but I get up close to people and I hold angles, and I push spawns when it's needed. If we need to assault the flag, this is a good class, but it's also good at holding map control. It's very versatile, like I said. It's geared towards aggression, but if you need to hang back, you can definitely do that if you're a good shot and you can control the recoil well on your own. It works just fine at range still, even though all of the attachments and perks and such, or trainings, are geared towards close range and aggression. This class still works well at range, which is why I think it's so good, because it allows you to play towards like the tempo of the game, rather than like if you pick, I don't know, a shotgun, you're kind of geared towards one sort of playstyle. You need all your engagements to be in close range, and you need to like set that up. But with this, you can do pretty much whatever is needed on the map, and that allows you to fill gaps and just play around your teammates well, which is one thing that if you're a solo player is very good to be able to do. My second loadout, also on the infantry division for pretty much all of the reasons I outlined previously, is an STG44 with the lens sight. the grip attachment, and then the FMJ attachment. FMJ may seem strange if you've seen some of my previous videos in like Infinite Warfare where I frequently talk about how it isn't a good attachment, but in this game there's a lot of cover to cover fighting, and if you get some shots on somebody and then they go dip behind your cover, you can just mow right through it with FMJ. And you'll see pre-firing through certain walls. You'll see in the gameplay if I put some up of the assault rifle, or the AR class, like the more structured AR class of the STG. The FMJ is very helpful, and you'll be surprised with how many things you can shoot through. Like Gibraltar, those brick walls, you can shoot people right through them. People will go behind them and think they're safe, and you can just shoot right through them. So it's very easy. It's very effective in this game, and it's really just centered around the game. It's like certain games have a lot of reasons to shoot through things, whereas a game like Infinite Warfare, there isn't that much cover and there isn't that many things you're going to be shooting through, so that's why I don't use it in that game. But in this game, there is a lot of cover-to-cover fighting, and there's a lot of things that you can shoot through that a lot of people aren't really like accustomed to yet, so you could definitely take advantage of that. And in those long-range cover-to-cover fights, which is how you're probably going to be playing with this weapon, it's going to give you a lot of kills that you may not have gotten otherwise. I'm going to use the Lookout basic training, which highlights enemy names at further distance. Just allows you to get your target faster. You'll be surprised less often at ranged battles. And like I said, this is a more structured assault rifle class. This is a class where you're going to be holding down angles and playing around map control. And so Lookout is a very good basic training for that. Forage is another good basic training, but because the Division perk allows Division perk 2, additional primary, Infantry Division perk 3 extra magazines makes you start with full ammo, so that's why I'm not using Forage, because I find that I don't often run out of ammo in this game, and I often do scavenge a weapon for my secondary. My secondary is going to be the machine pistol in this class, but that's just something I was messing with. You could put on any pistol, and oftentimes I will just swap this out immediately for something. If someone runs up on me with a PPSH and I kill them, I'm going to swap that out for the PPSH or an M1 Grand. Pretty much anything I can swap for, I will swap for. And then finally I have a frag grenade just to use at range. Maybe if I get a target weak and he gets away from me, I can frag him, I can frag flags. It's just, the frag grenade's very versatile as well. So, I hope you see from this gameplay and these classes that the STG can do anything. It can be an aggressive assault rifle, and it can also be a more structured defensive assault rifle, and obviously since it could do those two things, it could do everything in between. And when you add some of the infantry perks like faster strafing or the bayonet, you get a very lethal weapon at pretty much all ranges. So that's going to do it for this video. Please like it if you enjoyed it. Comment down below what you thought of this video. Have you been using the STG44 in either of these loadouts? How do you like to use your STG? Like I said, that's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching.
Care package on the way. Protect the drop zone. Recon aloft.